The Christmas market in the French city of Strasbourg is due to reopen on Friday morning, after the attack carried out by a gunman on Tuesday evening. Chekatt was killed on Thursday by police on a city street after he opened fire on officers. 3 people died following the shooting at the market, and several more are seriously injured. Interior Minister Christophe Castaner is due to attend the reopening. Strasbourg's Mayor Roland Rai said security would be tight. We have restricted the number of entrances with checkpoints, body searches and bag searches. We have reduced the number of entry points, a greater control, with a better distribution of police forces. He told French radio. Strasbourg markets itself as the capital of Christmas, and this festive market is a magnet for tourists, attracting 2 million visitors every year. The city had been in lockdown after the attack, while more than 700 police and soldiers hunted down the suspected gunman. Chekatt,
29,
had a string of criminal convictions in France and Germany, and had become a radical Islamist in jail. Interior Minister Christophe Castaner said 3 police officers had spotted a man matching Chekatt's description on Rue de Lazare in the Nudolf area of Strasbourg at
21
local time
20
GMT. As the police moved to stop him, the suspect turned around and opened fire. They fired back and neutralized the attacker, said Mr. Castaner, who later went to the scene. French President Emmanuel Macron thanked security forces in a tweet and vowed, "Our commitment against terrorism is total." Hundreds of French police and security forces had been searching for Chekatt. A large police operation had taken place in Nudolf earlier on Thursday, but ended apparently without results. 5 people have been arrested in connection with the attack. They include Chekatt, his parents, and 2 of his brothers. Mr. Rai said that finding Chekatt meant the worried people of his city would now be able to return to a normal life. Mr. Castaner thanked the security forces in a tweet. Face Opaya, who are best on the mirror, Mercy, Strasbourg Pic, Twitter, COMCGBBZXFX. End of Twitter post by @Castaner. The bulletin marks on the door where the suspected Strasbourg gunman Sheriff Chekatt was shot dead by police patrol officers on Rue de Lazare in Nudolf last night. Click Twitter. Speak of land of Twitter post by @GavinLiBDC at about
20
local time
19
GMT. A man opened fire close to the famed Christmas market near Place Akbar. France's anti-terror prosecutor, Rémy Heitz, said the man had shouted, "Allahu Akbar, God is greatest," as he opened fire. The suspect was armed with a gun and a knife and escaped the area after jumping into a taxi. Mr. Heitz said, as he fled he came into contact with 4 soldiers. Mr. Heitz said, and began firing at them. The soldiers fired back, apparently hitting him in the arm. The attacker told the taxi driver he had killed 10 people, and also said he had been injured during a firefight with the soldiers. He ordered the taxi driver to drop him near the police station in Nudolf. When he got out of the vehicle, he fired at police officers before escaping. Chekatt was born in Strasbourg and was already known to the security services. He was on the FITCH's watch list of people who represent a potential threat to national security. He had 27 convictions for crimes, including robbery spanning France, Germany, and Switzerland, and had spent considerable time in prison. As a result, police were seeking him on Tuesday morning in connection with another case, but did not find him at home. A search of his apartment in Nudolf revealed a grenade and rifle, 4 knives, 2 of which were hunting knives, and ammunition. The Islamic State group is self-styled news agency, Amaq, on Thursday said that Chekatt was an Islamic State soldier who had carried out the operation in response to calls for targeting citizens of coalition countries fighting its militants in Syria and Iraq. 3 people died in Tuesday's attack, according to a note from the local prefecture on Thursday. One of the 5 seriously injured in this attack has been declared brain dead, said the Paris prosecutor's office on Thursday. The death of Chekatt, a mechanic originally from Afghanistan, was announced on Thursday. The father of 3 died in hospital. His mosque announced his funeral would take place after Friday prayers. He had been visiting the market with his family and was shot in the head. His cousin told AFP news agency, SDK Monashbernd, P.
3
Infants, most well-known Kusan office van Revolutie Vendredi Farti Sembre La Grande Monsque DAYYB Southern Dupont qui Strasbourg, APRS La Prairie du Vendredi.
13 点。
Il Syrian Homosinati Rémy Salman de Strasbourg My Peak, Twitter.
COMLK 6
End of Twitter post by @GMA Yap Sultan, a retired bank worker aged
61
from Strasbourg, was also killed in the attack, according to media reports. The 3rd victim was a Thai tourist who was on holiday with his wife. Thailand's Prime Minister, Prayut Chan-o-cha, sent a letter of condolence to his French counterpart on Thursday that confirmed the man was among the dead. App reports, Anna von Supsamon
45
has been named by Thai media as the victim, a 7-year-old girl from Guatemala who illegally crossed the United States-Mexico border with her father died after being taken into custody. As media say, the girl, who arrived in the US last week as part of a group of migrants, died of dehydration and shock, the Washington Post reported. The AP news agency close border officials as saying she had not had food or water for several days. Thousands of migrants have traveled from Central America to the US border. The migrants say they are fleeing persecution, poverty, and violence in their home countries of Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. Many of them say their goal is to settle in the US despite warnings by US officials that anyone found entering the country illegally will face arrest, prosecution, and deportation. US officials have so far made no official statement on the death of the girl. On Thursday, the Washington Post reported that she had suffered seizures after being detained last weekend along with her father and was taken by helicopter to a children's hospital in El Paso. In less than 24 hours after she was admitted, she suffered a cardiac arrest, the newspaper says, citing US Customs and Border Protection authorities. Tension has been running high on the US-Mexican border since the arrival of almost 700 migrants in recent weeks. Last month, United States border agents used tear gas on a crowd of migrants, including children, trying to cross the border. The agents said that personnel had been assaulted and hit by stones. However, critics accused the Trump administration of a draconian response, while Mexico demanded an investigation into the incident. The migrants have traveled in large groups, dark caravans, for more than
4,000 km 500
miles from Central America. Among them are many families with young children. Donald Trump has vowed to keep each migrant on the Mexican side of the border until courts have decided their cases, meaning some face a long wait. They have been spending time in temporary shelters in the Mexican border city of Tijuana and New Mexico.
180 千米
to the east. The US passenger plane traveling from Seattle to Dallas was forced to turn back hours into its flight because a human heart had been left on board. Southwest Airlines says the organ was flown to Seattle from California, where it was to be processed at a hospital to have a valve recovered for future use, but it was never unloaded and its absence was not noticed until the plane was almost halfway to Dallas. The heart itself had not been intended for a specific patient. Details of the incident, which occurred on Sunday, were reviewed in media reports. On Thursday, passengers were said to have been shocked when the captain told them about the cargo and why the flight was turning back. Some used their smartphones to investigate the length of time that a heart can be stored before it is no longer viable for a transplant operation, typically between 4 and 6 hours. According to experts, the plane was reportedly in the air for about 3 hours. A doctor, who was among the passengers but not involved in the shipment of the organ,